Welcome to Carlton family. I was asked a few weeks ago to communicate with you lot, and specifically to the players of this current group. And the heading of the speech was, could you give them some idea of what it took and how we caused an effect of winning a 68 flag? So luckily for me, for some reason, had a fair few mates at senior level. Some of them are still alive, most of them have died. God bless them. But to Ivan particularly, I thought I would try, particularly to the younger players here, give you some insight, because I think it's vital if you want to make the next step forward in where we're heading. The Carlton Football Club. The football, as with all sports, has innate ability when starting to believe in your own publicity and fanfare hits you with harsh reality and brings you down to earth. I recall one day when injured, sitting in the Robert Heatley stand, and with delight I observed a young supporter wearing my number 11. I was sitting with some mates and we called the lad over. With ridicule and humour they asked why I was wearing my number. He candidly replied, "Mum brought Sir Silvani's number, but it was too long for my jumper, so she cut it in half." So it fit, and not to be wasteful, she sewed it on both number ones. Thanks, Serge, for your hospitality. Humility comes in all shapes and sizes. You young lads remember it. I was asked today to provide an insight into the reasons why the 1968 flag was achieved, so today's players list may appreciate and understand some of the prerequisites required to achieve further success. If I'm able, by delivering this speech, by influencing the players and committee 1 degree in attitude, I will be delighted to have assisted our great club. As a member of the 68 Premiership team, I'm humbled to be asked to address the current playing list, committee and our wonderful Carlton supporters, and provide an insight to some of the reasons for this unique achievement. After 21 years of failure, we won the 68 Premiership, which has only been achieved 15 other times in our great history. Remember, I don't know the club's, what is it now, boys, 100 and what years old? Whatever it is. We've only won it 16 times. That's how bloody hard it is to win. The prevailing circumstance of the structural changes that the club addressed at the end of 64 are in many ways a replica of the current groundswell of change that the Carlton Football Club is again addressing most successfully today. Allow me to reflect on my observation on the reigniting of the Carlton Football Club in 64 and the beginning of 65. 1965 was the instigation and start of a football cultural revolution. The appointment of Ronald Dale Barassi as a playing coach of the Carlton Football Club, this process was the first major professional action taken by a VFL club which has continued to have major ramifications up until this day. The environment, social values, ambitions and outcomes of a football club can be simply explained by drawing upon a simple analogy of a wheel and the fundamental importance of the axle to the structural impact it has on the pure performance of the wheel to move forward. All 22 spokes are attached to the axle and are in turn further attached to the wheel's circumference. If one of the maybe 22 odd spokes does not perform, the wheel will immediately start to wobble and fail. Players, look upon yourselves as a single spoke, and with a small singular drop in attitude by one spoke, the wheel will immediately start to wobble and games are lost. The axle of the wheel dictates the character, culture, environment, social values, goals and the achievement of a sporting body's success. You will continually hear the requirement of character, which is intrinsic to winning an AFL flag. Let there be no misunderstanding. Character consists of what you do on the 3rd and 4th tries, indelibly imprinted in your minds. I reflect on the 10 years I committed to the Carlton Football Club. It was as beneficial as a postgraduate Harvard University degree and more than developed my character to go on and represent my country at 3 different sports. Before a group of players can be developed into a winning combination, the selection of a president is the most significant decision of a football club in achieving success. He is the axle of the wheel. All parameters are influenced by his judgment and character values. To understand the importance of this appointment, one always finds behind the scenes there is a godfather. Thank God for the late Laurie Kerr, a great Carlton Football Club life member and tough, relentless sentiment who was devoted to the success of the Carlton Football Club. With his influence and guidance, the 64 and 65 office bearers were organised. The president in turn attracts a group of outstanding individuals to come together as a cohesive committee. The president makes with the appropriate advice an appointment of an outstanding coach and management staff. They in turn consider the playing list and restructure with players that are judged not just on football talent, but character, work ethic, discipline and intelligence. May I quote Calvin Coolidge, 1872 to 1933, President of the United States of America. "Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated failures. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent." I quote Norman Vincent Peale, 1898 to 1993. "If you are not getting as much from life as you want to, then examine the state of your enthusiasm. If you reflect on the past desperate years of the Carlton Football Club, consider Robert Louis Stevenson's 1850 to 1894. Make the most of the best and the least of the worst. In other words, out of every negative there is a positive if you have the true Carlton character to find it. For example, the 1970 Grand Final Premiership, 44 points down at half-time. There was no yelling by our famous coach, no recriminations, just a strong team desire to make the third and fourth efforts. Prior to the end of 64, Carlton over many years had not addressed most of these values. Accordingly, we suffered a lack of success, 21 years without a flag. A unique group of diverse characters were brought together in late 64-65, forming the committee and electing the late George Harris as president of the Carlton Football Club. I well remember Ronald Dale in the initial year of coaching asking would I be happy to accept the club playing some outstanding recruits to entice him to play for Carlton. Serge Silvani, Wes Lofts and I were only too supportive. Big John was obviously excused. Names like Alex Jesaulenko, Sidney Jackson, Brent Croswell, Percy Jones come to mind. Need I say more? What a great result for the Carlton Football Club.